All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another smashing episode of YMB Live.
Smashing episode.
This is a Wednesday, and that's when we always do YMB Live, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern. So we got two amazing hours coming right up, all the Bitcoin headlines and everything. I'm Daniel Brown, and I'm here with my
Tim
favorite
Baker,
people.
my favorite people. Your
And
favorite
John
people.
Stuart.
How's it going, guys? I we're just a minute or two late getting started today, which is not really that big a deal, but it was mostly my fault too, which is not usually the case. So apologies for that. Anyway, you are welcome and encouraged to interact with us during the show. We have open tweet lines all show long and all week long. We actually have a ton of tweets that we could touch on and look through from a pretty awesome dude on Twitter that's been sending us a bunch of cool stuff. But yeah, so that the best way to do that is at me and btc.com/live. There's pretty much everything that you need for the show is there. You can watch the video there if you're not already. You can listen to the radio stream if you just prefer audio, and also that starts a little early and ends a little bit late, so you can hear us fighting before we start, and that's always fun. And then there's a tweet button there, and that's the easiest way to tweet us. It fills in that stuff right there, hashtag YMB Live and at me and BTC. And send us anything you like, any links, any questions, and we will address them on air. So, looking forward to getting some tweets in from all you guys out there. And there's a poll there too. It hasn't been updated for this week yet. Like I said, I was behind. Although I do want to check. We have the one from last week up about uh, Tim's, what should his press
Oh,
release be for his headline? I'm seeing 50-50 for one option that is Bitcoin podcast host hates life. And ooh, wait, we got another one? I don't remember getting that one. Uh, pod
I think that was mine.
the Nick Cage one.
Yeah.
Podcaster opens up on faith and devotion to the one true God, Nicolas Cage.
yeah, that sounds like John.
Yeah. That's your new headline, Tim. You have to buy a press release now.
Um, maybe.
Anyway, we are about to bring you all the latest Bitcoin news.
Right to
Any
your face.
previews, guys?
Any
Yeah, right to
previews?
your face or to your
Well,
ears. Your ears.
speaking of faces, we do have one story about a man with a face tattoo today, which isn't very normal in Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah. Go
But we
ahead,
do have
Tim,
that coming up for you all.
yeah. Okay, coming up. Mike Tyson in Bitcoin.
Oh
That's
yeah, I had that
Surprise.
one.
That was mine first.
Uh, well, I'm gonna let you guys fight over it in a minute,
Okay.
but any other teasers we can give because we need some reason for people to continue listening other than like Tim's voice is on the podcast because then they'll just leave. Give me some what's a good what stories did you find? None. Okay. All right. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for complete silence. It'll blow your mind.
It will sit here better than anything you've ever heard before.
All right,
No, we
fine.
have a what? Well, no, we have. We're going to talk a little bit about Carpelli's, and also, if you want to do it today, we can do that purse thing. It's not as much of a headline, but
Do the what thing? Who what?
the article from the blog post from purse.com.
Oh yeah, yeah. That might be worth
About
talking
Bitcoin
about because
calls.
I don't.
Yeah,
Well, we joke about how we cover them all the time, and I guess we must have mentioned them on the live show recently. but it is a an update and some interesting thoughts in this blog post. So yeah, that could be worth covering. Cool. Well, before we get into all that, first thing I want to do is give a huge thank you to Genitrust and Wall of Coins. Genitrust, I guess, is the creator of Wall of Coins, and they've been supporting the show, sponsoring us for months, honestly, and they've been amazing guys. They do amazing work. Wallofcoins.com is where you can buy Bitcoin with cash or sell Bitcoin for cash. And I should also mention that if you're interested in trying it out, especially the buying feature, head to btc.com/buy, and we have a little widget right there where you can use Wall of Coins, and we'll get a little fraction of your purchase so you can help support us out. Help support us out. I kind of was mixed up, but there it is. Yeah, so me and btc.com/buy, and you can do all kinds of cool stuff with Genitrust Wall of Coins. You can literally walk away with thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin without even making an account within minutes of even visiting their site. Really great stuff. You just deposit cash at a bank account near you, wherever you want. So. Awesome. Check that out. Me and btc.com/buy. And I see no reason not to open the show with Mike Tyson. And you both seem to have it and be interested in it. So I'm just going to let you guys go at each other's throats and talk about, run this however you like.
We don't do that, Daniel. We're civilized people.
Yeah.
We're acquaintances, so we try to keep.
I'm confident that I have enough other interesting articles, so you can
We
take
can all do it
this.
together, John. It's about Mike Tyson now. Mike Tyson is sponsoring a ATM that I believe is going to be out in Las Vegas. I
Do
believe.
you have a link, Tim, to like a bigger
Yeah,
story?
you
Or
can put it in there, probably.
but I feel like there should be some fuller stories by now. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really like fuller story. They're just saying he's backing an ATM business, and it's called the Mike Tyson Bitcoin ATM. And their tagline is Mike Tyson's fastest knockout in the ring was 30 seconds. We can get you. Well, I'll just read the actual thing. The site boasts that, quote, Mike Tyson's fastest knockout in the ring was 30 seconds. The Mike Tyson Bitcoin ATM could turn your cash into Bitcoin in under 20 seconds.
So that's pretty good. 20
Yeah, I mean, I've
seconds
never
is
used an
not bad at
ATM
all.
as far as, well, actually, I was going to say Bitcoin, but I don't know if I've ever used any kind of ATM.
Not even a cash one?
No.
How do you go about that? What the heck?
I just never take cash out of the bank that way.
Well, you get
Alright.
paid for cash, right?
Yeah, but even whenever I didn't, I would like I don't get paid fully in cash, but it's probably like half and half for the grass cutting.
So
But
hang on. If you needed cash and there's an ATM right by the front door of the bank, you would still just go in?
well, part of the problem is that most of the time the bank that I went to was just inside of a Giant Eagle, so it was just right there. And I didn't have a card, and I didn't really care to
You don't
remember a
have an
pin.
ATM like right in front of the bank?
Yeah, it's like off to the side, but it's already like I can walk up to the ATM, or I can walk up to a person, just be like, "Here, give me some money."
Yeah. So why would you not?
Yeah.
Why would why would you want to walk up to a person when you don't have to?
I might do that.
I don't
You don't
like.
have to type in your PIN or anything.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. I also just if I went up to an ATM now, I mean I think I'd be able to figure it out, but I've just never been like, oh, I should do this sometime. Anyway,
See, I don't even go in the bank to deposit anymore because one of my banks I can deposit in the ATM.
Yeah, me
nice.
too. Or deposit checks on your phone. So.
Oh yeah, well I can't do that, so.
Oh yeah,
So
you and your Stone Age phone.
he's trying to be a
Yeah.
minimalist, Daniel.
But no, I probably haven't walked inside of a bank in like a year. or more.
Yeah. I bet I. No, I did once because I wanted a whole bunch of nickels. I got like $100 worth of nickels, and then they shorted me like $4, and then I had to go back inside, and I'm like, guys, anyway.
Yeah, but he's working with a. There's some questions as to not the legality, or really there's some questions there's some
The
questions.
legitimacy.
Well, yeah, there's some questions that maybe Tyson got kind of suckered into this and was being told that he's going to make a lot of money off of this new technology and like hopefully get a bunch of like make a quick bit of money, maybe. But obviously, whenever someone says that, then the people that Tyson's working with say that that's not the case. So who knows? Um,
Yeah,
Yeah,
what I heard was that the guy, I think it's this Peter Klamka that they
yeah.
talk about in the
yeah,
article. I heard he was like a well-known crook kind of guy in the financial space, and he's created like 8 different companies, and they always like change names, and then he I don't know, he just seems kind of sketchy. And then but they'd also said this Bitcoin Direct LLC, which is the thing that's partnering with Mike Tyson. They said that, you know,
yeah, he definitely
you
does. I
use
don't
that
trust this guy
company.
at all. Calls himself a friend in his
What do you mean
Twitter.
you don't? Tim,
He's
Mike Tyson trusts him, so he
Yeah,
must be a great guy.
Mike Tyson's suddenly a great judge of character at this point. He hits people. I mean, he's very good at hitting people.
Tim,
He's
Tim,
very good
he's
at that.
famous. He has to be smart, and
Yeah,
he knows what's good and bad, obviously.
but
And
his
this guy also like
his pictures all like wavy
is
hair.
well, it says hold on, let me check this just to make sure.
He's an educator, coach, friend, and Patriots fan, which you know he's a cheater then too. So
So like
don't do it, Mr. Tyson.
the Bitcoin Direct LLC is apparently a subsidiary of a cattle company, which he says is for
Oh,
financing.
Okay.
And also he said that
right.
he's worked on celebrity credit cards with Kiss, Donald Trump, and Hello Kitty. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that is another thing I heard is he has a history of celebrity partnerships.
What's the celebrity credit
Yeah,
card?
this when I first read this article, I was like, it sounded like an Onion article. Like I was like, wait a second. Okay, yeah, this is CNBC, and it's not April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Mike Tyson Bitcoin ATM.
here's an important thing. Yeah, Connexus cattle. What the
Yeah.
heck? Anyway, uh, what do you think? Let's say it was legit, or even if it wasn't legit, say it worked somewhat well for several months. Good or bad for Bitcoin? I mean, is it going to get more attention there? Is it going to make people look into it more? Good or bad?
I think
I
it'll
feel like
make
it's
people look into it, but I don't know how how good it is to bring people in who are taking who are taking who are taking like monetary advice from a boxer. I don't know. I mean, maybe he runs his stuff well, but I don't know.
I feel like this is gonna be one of those things that everybody forgets about in a month.
Oh yeah. Well,
Like I don't think
They
it's gonna really.
they do make the point though that in this reason why Klamka took him, he said he's a well-recognized figure who's been involved with money on both sides of the equation for most of his life. This is from an article from the Las Vegas Sun. At a minimum, people will try Bitcoin because Mike Tyson has tried it. They make the point that he's pretty he's popular with a few different age groups, the adults because he's a boxer, and then younger like millennials because he was in The Hangover. Like that was like a big thing in The Hangover that he did that. I think so. I think it'll
mm,
get people looking at it. It just depends on if they actually stay or if it's just like, oh, this is stupid.
You
And
know
they
what
just
we
leave.
really need is a Hello Kitty Bitcoin ATM.
Yes, we do.
That'll generate a ton of
I
interest.
think that died out a
Every
while
single
ago.
person in Japan will like start buying Bitcoin. They still like
Exactly.
Hello Kitty over there, I think. I'm gonna sound
Yeah,
like a racist
I heard it
now.
was kind
I
of like
love
a culty
Japanese people,
thing
by the
where
way.
Over there, one of those Asian people, they just like Hello Kitty. Is that what you're trying to say, John?
No, I'm gonna
they
sound
also
like
don't have the
I'm
internet.
racist for saying that you cartoons.
Okay.
But I mean, I love Japanese people. I can't complain about them.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff you could complain about them, but you can complain about everybody
They
else
give
too.
us anime and weird candy.
I don't like anime or weird candy.
I mean, I could take or leave the weird candy, but the anime I need.
Anyway, lots to be seen with Mike Tyson. Well, you know, maybe not. Maybe it will just dissipate, disappear. We'll see.
It's supposed to launch in Vegas in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's another thing is, I mean, in Vegas, boxing happens a lot in Vegas, so there might be
There's
some
also
interested.
usually people there who are ready to make rash decisions.
Yeah, like lots of
Yeah,
drunk people wandering the streets on
the kind
vacation.
of
Oh
people
my
who would
God, buy some
absolutely
Bitcoin.
the kind of people who would absolutely be influenced by
Yes.
whose face was on the Bitcoin
Well,
ATM.
I saw that guy in a movie. He's selling Bitcoin. That's fine. I don't know what the voice was, but yeah, definitely.
Oh, which that reminds
Which is
me,
why
I
we
was in
need a
Vegas.
celebrity on here.
What do you mean? I'm already on here.
Do not find a celebrity, Daniel.
Damn it. No, that reminds me. I went to a casino in Vegas where they accepted Bitcoin, and I went in the gift shop, and I'm like, oh, I'll come back later and buy something because I've been trying to use Bitcoin in person for like years now, and I
Yeah,
forgot to
it's
go back
You always forget.
that was your New Year's resolution like 2 New
a
Years
year and a
ago.
half. Yeah, two New Years ago. Yeah, and like literally, it was like our second episode. I said I wanted to do that, and god damn it, I still haven't.
You're the
Anyway,
reason why the
all right.
networks fall
Well,
apart, Daniel.
I think we beat Mike Tyson to death. See, we must be good boxers because we
That's
knocked him out.
very good, Daniel. We knocked out that trade. No, not one.
All right, cool. That's Mike Tyson. Uh, before we move on to something next, well, I'm gonna let John go next because he said he has a decent amount of stuff to cover, and like I said, I've been running late, so I have relatively little prepared. So I'll go. I'll be the last one in the circle. But before we get on to whatever the heck John wants to talk about, just another quick reminder: get to me and btc.com/live and click the tweet button. Most important thing you can do there. Now, any thoughts? Tim, your mic might be backwards again. I'm hearing myself, but it might be
No,
fine.
I mean I can turn it a little bit
Oh,
more.
it's
But
because you changed directions. That's why. But whatever, it's fine. Just leave it. Um, what was your idea for the poll, Tim? Something about Carpelli's?
I guess just what people in general think of him. Like if we have anyone out there who thinks that he's not lying, and or if someone thinks that he was more involved with the Silk Road, or if he even was DPR.
Okay, so here's the thing. If I'm not quite sure what the question would be for a poll, but we'll just tell people to tweet us if you have any thoughts like that. Tell us if you think that he was DPR. Tell us if you think that whatever you think about Mount Cox. I know that's really old news, but it's
What
been
yeah
a while.
what all was Carpelli's responsible for? Did he also do 9/11? Was he there for the World Trade Center bombings in '93? Give
Yeah,
us all your answers.
yeah.
Is he part
Tell
of the
yeah.
Illuminati?
Yes, is he part of the Illuminati?
Oh
Was
yeah,
he at
obviously.
the wait? What's it called? What's the grove where they burn the owl? Something Grove. Where it's just like it's a conspiracy thing where like all the world leaders come together at some grove, I think in California, and they burn like an effigy of like an owl. Owl. I can't
I
say it
don't know
right.
anything about this.
What the heck are you talking about?
All right,
And what
I'll
does this
find
have
it.
to
Man,
do with
Tim is
Yeah,
like
Carpelia?
just go. Yeah, go. Don't. I'll find it though.
Tim knows
All right.
about like all the really like esoteric
This one working at
conspiracy
aliens.
theories.
Heard about
You're
all
like
like the Catholic Illuminati pedophile rings and the aliens and the reptiles.
yeah, you're like a conspiracy theorist like connoisseur or something.
Bohemian Grove. I enjoy these things.
Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to John. And if either of you ever come up with an idea for a poll in the midst of this show, let me know. But before that happens, you are definitely welcome to vote in the poll about the existing poll about Tim's headline. If he were to create a press release, you can put in your own answer if you like, whatever the heck, whatever the heck you come up with, something from about Nick Cage or being God or something, or something like the options that are already there, like Bitcoin perv begs porn sites to accept Bitcoin, or the clickbait style, you'll never believe how much of a failure this man is. Anyway, that's all at you, me, and btc.com/live. All right, go, John.
All right. So I think last week we talked about Putin talking about Bitcoin. We talked
Maybe 2 weeks ago, yeah.
we talked about Putin talking about Bitcoin. Yeah. So
Sure.
this is another incident with Russia. There's a Russian media watchdog that sent a message to a tech news site called, I'm gonna destroy this, Zuckerberg Pozvanit. That wasn't that bad. I don't know if that's right, but it didn't sound that bad to me. All right, so they published a Bitcoin related article 2 years ago that was it was titled it was titled "What are Bitcoins and Who Needs Them?" And it was kind of just like an introduction and a little bit of history about Bitcoin. And so this watchdog, which let me see if I can find the name of it. Yeah, it's called Roskomnadzor. That's the watchdog. It's an
what
executive
what
body, I guess.
so
It's
what's a watchdog? It's just people that
it
look for
says
problems.
it says that it's the Kremlin's executive body responsible for controlling and supervising media and mass communication. So I guess it's kind of like the Russian FCC.
Okay. Is it
That's
literally called a watchdog? That's hilarious.
well, I think that's just what they're calling it in the article.
Okay, okay.
What are you talking?
This is,
Wait, a watchdog group?
No, it's like it's an official watchdog. So it's like if we called the FCC like the media watchdog or something.
Okay.
I
yeah.
thought it was like
Well,
an official name, but it's just like it's
this is
just
a CoinDesk article, so
yeah.
I think it's just yeah. Anyways, so they sent him a message telling them that they needed to change something in the article. They don't really reveal much detail about it or what they're trying to change. But the news site said they posted a Facebook status saying, "We haven't discussed the issue collectively yet, but I maintain the position that we do not have to delete anything. Let them close the website and then let them explain to our 1.8 million readers and to the industry what is going on." Yeah, I guess I didn't mention. They said if they didn't change it, they were going to block access to the website.
Interesting. What what was the article like saying? Did it say what it was about or just Bitcoin? That's
It
all I'm seeing is
it was that what I said. What are bitcoins and who needs them? It was an introduction and a little bit of history about Bitcoin. So it was kind of just like any number of those like first Bitcoin article things.
yeah, so what
Yeah, I don't know what could have been written in that would have been so bad.
yeah. And it says it was like 2 years old anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. So does Russia, because didn't the Putin thing we talked about, that was
Yeah.
him, wasn't he sort of expressing a positive attitude towards Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's what they mentioned that at the end of the article that this came right after Putin made his first ever public comments, which we talked about last week or a few weeks ago, whenever it was. But yeah, and it was saying that he supported Russian central banks exploring the technology. But according to the article, in January this year, the Watchdog blocked access to a few Bitcoin websites in the country. Uh, they have a list of them here. I'm not going to read through all of them, but some of them took it to court, and they ended up winning and getting their domains reinstated or whatever. Yeah, so I guess this has been happening over there.
Yeah, that's so weird. I guess I mean, no, I don't think it says why very much in here, but it, if I had to speculate, it just seems like Bitcoin is a threat pretty clearly to the government, and they don't want people involved in it. I think. I mean, does that seem like what it should be?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of any other reasons.
Yeah, weird.
I mean, I could see either. I mean, both of these fall under that same umbrella, but either because they think that people are going to start using it to get out of following regulations, or the government just doesn't want anybody to know how to use it so that they have a monopoly on it. I
Yeah,
don't know.
interesting. Well, yeah, another thing to just watch and see what happens. I mean, I don't remember specifically what we were talking about Putin, but yeah, what did seem like a positive thing. So it's surprising, and hopefully it can kind of get the trend, the anti-Bitcoin mindset might be able to turn around if they let it. See, that's the difficult part is like the government has to let that happen and want that to happen, and if they understood it very well, I'd have a hard time imagining that they really would let that happen. So I don't know. Cool. Anything else on that before we move on? I want to offer another quick reminder to check out Wall of Coins from Genitrust. Huge thank you to them for helping us out very, very much. It's been great to have their support. And if you're interested in buying Bitcoin with cash today, you can go to youmeandbtc.com/buy. There's a little widget right there. We get a little cut, and so you can help support us too. Okay, you two, in one sentence or less, why should people be supporting us? What incentive should they have to do something that would help us profit a little bit? One
Man,
sentence or less.
you shouldn't have asked this on the spot. You should have told us earlier.
Yeah,
I
let me
know,
kind of write
I know.
something real nice up about how
First impressions, or not impressions, but whatever comes to mind.
That's never a good thing.
we provide value in the form of endless, long, dreary hours of entertainment. And
Dreary entertainment.
yeah, have
That
you
is
heard
that
us
isn't
talk
that an
yet?
oxymoron? I know, but
Have you
that's an
heard
oxymoron, isn't it? Is dreary entertainment an oxymoron? I guess not, because entertainment is just like technically it's just like keeping somebody occupied or giving them attention. And so you could entertain someone in a dreary way. But most people have positive connotations with entertainment. Okay, I'm going way too far. I normally harass Tim for picking my words apart, so all right, John, one sentence or less. One word.
One word. Oh man, that's a.
If I had to give one word for why you should support Yumi and BTC, it would be Daniel.
Wow. That's why you should not support
Yeah.
us.
We just get
I don't care if
Daniel's ego and just general disdain for anyone not himself is getting to a point where it's
Hey,
unbearable
that
to like
actually
work
reminds
with.
me. Another idea that I had, and this one I won't make super quick. You don't have to come up with this today. But we should all have like, I don't know, nicknames or titles or
I want
something.
a
that
nickname.
sounds terrible, like a
No,
terrible
I know I
idea.
do want a nickname. We had a client come up to us while we were cutting the other day, and he was like, he was asking us if we could cut his bushes, and so like he walked away and was like, "Yeah, like my name's like Maurice, but like, people call me Slick, man." I was like, "Why? Why can't I have a nickname?
I,
You just get
I
Slick."
thought of this because Mark Edge is calling himself King Mark the First, and
Oh, never mind.
thing.
Yeah, I mean,
All
I'd
right.
like a nickname, but I feel like any nickname that I'd have, I wouldn't want. So,
You also kind of have to be given a nickname. I mean, you don't have to be, but it's kind of bullshit if you make it up yourself. Hey
Yeah.
guys, my name
Anyway,
is.
if you are interested in supporting us for any reason at all, you, me, and btc.com/buy. Great place to do it. Check out Wall of Coins. Even if you don't do it on our site, check them out. Created by Genetrust. And get right now to you, me, and btc.com/live and send us a tweet. Anything at all we'd love to hear. There's a tweet button right on that page. Okay, so I guess if we're sticking with this circle thing, which kind of has worked for a while, that kind of makes it my turn. And I want
oh,
to
nice. I get
touch.
out of trying to come up with one word.
Oh, all right. Well, now I have to make
No, I
you
mean, I
figure it
don't.
out.
You can go on. I'll just think about it while you're.
All right.
No, maybe I
Okay.
shouldn't do that because then it will just like then the tension will just build up and people will be disappointed.
Yeah, you're just making
Uh,
Daniel nervous too.
yeah, I'm just gonna say you should support us because we just like we just like doing this.
Jokes.
I don't know.
Jokes. We're having fun, people. Why can't you just support us having fun? We're having a good time. Are you having a good time? There. That's your pitch, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just trying to do a good job.
Yeah.
That was
All
bad.
right. All right.
Gosh.
Well,
Guys.
maybe somebody will like it.
No, they won't.
Or even if you don't like it. All right. So, hey, I am going to cover an article. The headline here: New service finds optimum Bitcoin transaction fee. It's another CoinDesk article. And it's kind of an interesting idea. I know I've heard of people working on this before, and probably with varying degrees of success. I want to say, Tim, you might know if this is true because I think you use mycelium somewhat regularly. Is there some sort of fee discovery system in mycelium? For some reason, in my mind, I thought they had some kind of analysis, and they could figure out kind of what how much fees you should pay when you send a transaction. Any idea if that's true?
For how quick for it to go through.
Well, yeah, yeah, probably.
Yeah, like well, if you're gonna send it, you put it. There's like a minor fee. There's economic. Is this what you're talking about? There's
Well, yeah, of
economic, which is
course.
when it's
Yeah, I
lower.
know. Of course, they give you options. Everybody lets you put in whatever fee you want. I'm saying, like, is there something that tells you what the best option might be at any given time?
I haven't used that. I
Okay,
don't
yeah,
know. It's,
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just made that whole thing up. I thought they did, but whether mycelium has that or not, there is another company that's been working on kind of a similar problem, and this is called CoinTape, and it looks like they have cointape.com is where you can look at it. And basically, they based on the current network conditions, they can analyze, it says what over the past 3 hours, I want to say. I thought I saw that in here somewhere. I'm not seeing it again. But they can analyze past transactions and oh, there it is. Yeah, 3 hours. And they can also just look at existing transactions that are waiting to be confirmed, and they can tell you if you pay this fee, it'll be confirmed in X amount of blocks. And I don't know, that's kind of cool. It says they can predict with 90% confidence, and one of the reasons that they think it's kind of helpful is just because right now the default fee is too low, basically. I mean, it depends on your needs for a transaction. If you need it to be quick, then of course it's too low. But they're saying it's not even close it's not even close to optimum, and they think the optimum fee is kind of double the most popular fee, and maybe that's true. It just, like I said, depends what you need. In my For me, I pretty much never pay fees other than the ones I have to, right? Like, if my wallet is gonna make me pay a fee, then whatever, it's not much, I'll do it. If it gives me the option of paying no fee, sorry, probably not gonna happen unless I'm in some kind of hurry. So, because I'm a filthy cheapskate. I don't know. Is that bad, guys? Should I be supporting the network more? Is it bad to free ride on Bitcoin?
Yes, it's terrible. You should probably feel bad for yourself. Actually, probably just kill yourself and just give me your money too. We could do that if you really
Um,
feel bad about it. I will
I
support the
mean,
network with all your money. Eventually, I'll
I
pay into it.
I can give you like a complimentary laugh for the sarcasm there, haha. But
Okay.
like actually, does it seem like a bad thing to do?
Um, I don't know. It doesn't sound like a bad thing to do. I think it's up to you. If you want to support the network, then support it. If you don't, I mean, I guess just right now, then if Bitcoin starts to fail, you can't be like, well, why weren't other people supporting it? Because you weren't. I mean, that's really the only thing I guess you get
My
caught on.
my opinion would be that the first of all, if a miner is if a miner needs the support, if your free transaction is really gonna hurt the miner, then he's just not gonna take the transaction. He's gonna be like, nope, all right, don't need that. Like if whoever the free transaction might hurt does not have to actually process the transaction if they really think free transactions are a ripoff. So that's one of the first things I would say. And then also at this point, the fees are so low, and you're not really like in my entire life, I've probably spent like 50 cents on Bitcoin fees, like max, right? Like even I guess a lot of people spend more and transfer more and pay higher fees. So that's not, that's maybe my example is not perfect, but still, even if you do pay like, let's say you put like a $2 fee on one transaction, that's going to get split between like 1,000 different miners anyway. It's barely going to be noticed, especially next to the 25 Bitcoin block reward, right? What's that? 25 Bitcoins. What's that about? $10,000 pushing like 8 or 9. That was some like really quick and dirty math. So to be completely honest, I have no clue. So I'm pulling up my calculator here. So 25 times what, like three, not 290. All right, 7,250. All right, yeah, a $2 fee, not really going to be noticed next to that. Eh, I guess if everyone paid a fee, that would be an extra, call it like 200 transactions. If everybody paid that even if everybody paid $1 fee, and even if there was like 300 transactions, that's $300 in one block, which is still not very much compared to $7,000. Am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Basically, the whole point of all that was just that the fees are not essential right now. And if you want to get a free transaction, and if someone's willing to process it for you, then go for it. That's all. Okay, cool. They also talk about network competition here, but it's not nothing special. It's just kind of basic Bitcoin. All the transactions are competing for blocks, and they're stored in the memory pool, and basically every miner selects the most valuable blocks or most valuable transactions out of its memory pool. So, and you can opt out of a fee. I will read this last paragraph here. CoinTape indicates that avoiding a fee is more likely to result in delays to your payment. It could take up to 6 blocks or around 1 hour because blocks are created roughly every 10 minutes. Yeah, and that's no problem at all for me most of the time. An hour? Sure, I'll wait. I'm not in a hurry, so I'll take the free one. Cool. All right. Anything else on that? If that's the case, then I guess we can go to Tim next. Everyone should be checking out Umi and btc.com/live. And I don't know, any thoughts on a poll yet, guys? Anything I should be distracted by while Tim's talking?
I
I
can't
guess
answer that
why
quite a
don't we do
question.
this? We can do the free transactions. Like our free is it is it how should we phrase this? Like I don't want to say like are free transactions okay because everyone kind of agrees that whatever, if you do it, you do it. I want to ask more like should you? Like even if it's acceptable to do a free transaction, is it good for the network? Maybe I'll put it that way. Are free if you are you still supporting the network if you don't pay a fee on your transaction? Does that sound right? Any better way to phrase that? All right, I'll go with something like that.
Yeah, that sounds
So
fun.
I'm about to go distract myself with that. I'll let you know when it's ready to vote on. And it'll be there all week for everyone listening later. You can still get to me and btc.com/live and vote however I decide to phrase it. Let us know what you think about fees. Is free okay? And it's all you, Tim.
Yeah, okay. Apparently, do you know anything about Xapo, Daniel? Or
I,
yeah, that's how it's
I
pronounced.
is that that's not
Yeah, is it the shoe store?
No, no, I meant it's a Bitcoin security company, I believe.
yeah. I mean, I've heard of it.
Okay. Um, well, this article is
The
from
shoe store is
2 days
Zappos
ago.
plural. Zappos
Oh,
Well,
plural.
this is also spelled with an X
yeah, I didn't.
Oh,
and a single
XAPO.
P.
XAPO.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
how would you
Maybe.
pronounce it?
Yeah, Zappo. Sure, why not? Sounds right. But actually, maybe I don't know much about him then.
Okay. Well, here's two articles. The second one I'm sending now is from a little bit ago, but that's because LifeLock has come after them now because of some. According to LifeLock, they're saying that LifeLock has alleged that the defendants did not disclose the nature and extent of their role in developing the project, which it argues was created on its computers and using its resources. They're complaining about the development of an IP. It says would become a foundation of the Bitcoin Services Forum. So I guess this is just like you developed this code or whatever while you were working for us. So, or maybe even that work they're trying to say. So we own that. But now Xapo is firing back because they weren't able to get they weren't able to get the breach of contract lawsuit dropped against them from LifeLock. So now I think they're kind of getting together for legal action, and they're saying that it was a problem in LifeLock, that it wasn't their fault. It was that LifeLock isn't run very well, and there's a lot of infighting. Um,
So, I'm like I said, I was distracted there typing in this stuff. Give me about one sentence of whatever, something, some sort of dispute.
What?
Yeah, just give me about one sentence what the main issue is here. Somebody, like, there's a dispute between Xapo and who?
LifeLock. The
And what's it over?
uh, LifeLock is saying that technology that or stuff that is used for Xapo for running the core of Xapo was somehow developed in a way that Xapo shouldn't be using it. That LifeLock has some kind of a hold over it, or not has some
Right.
ownership in it. And
What's it? What is it again? The
it's pretty vague. All they say is they
It's
did not disclose.
intellectual property.
Yeah, I mean it's an IP thing.
Yeah, I know, but what? Like, is it software?
Well, they
Is
don't
it a
say that
website? Okay,
necessarily.
okay.
It just says that
Well,
uh,
it says it was
related to
created on
develop.
their computers using their resources, so I'm guessing it's some kind of software.
Well, yeah. Okay. Um, yeah,
Interesting.
and Zappo's saying that no, they knew about it and they relinquished any claim to it. Um,
So they're not using it anymore?
no, there's Zappo is saying that LifeLock is not being is lying about how it was
Oh,
developed,
okay.
and that
So
LifeLock
I
doesn't have
thought,
anything for it.
right, I thought you were saying that Zappo like turned it back over to LifeLock, but you mean that Zappo said that LifeLock had already turned it over to kind of the public.
They said they relinquished
Yeah, I don't know
their.
they didn't turn over the public, but they are saying they don't have any claim to it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it says they relinquished claim to any technology developed, and that they were
Interesting.
aware of what they were working on.
Interesting.
Maybe it was something like those guys working at LifeLock and they're not well whenever they weren't at work or when they had like some kind of off time they developed it and LifeLock's saying that they maybe stole software from them.
Well, I don't know. It seems like it's still kind of a fuzzy story, and we'll have to see how it plays out. So,
Well,
I
that's
mean,
how.
because
Yeah, it's going into a court. It's going to be fuzzy.
yeah, cool, interesting. Anything else on that one? That was a quick one, but that's okay. Because our first one was what Mike Tyson. We went for probably like 25 minutes or something. So quick ones are no problem. I mean, that's how a lot of headlines are. It's just this is what happened. What do you want me to say? But then we start going on and on about some specific thing for hours and hours. So I don't know. I feel like not everything, but most headlines we could tear them to shreds. That's kind of our thing, right? We pick apart every single word, for better or worse, and just go on and on. But anyway, all right, cool. Well, we can move on to John if you're done, Tim.
Yeah.
Okay. I will mention that the poll is live uh, at youmeandbtc.com/live. You can just head there and vote. Tell us if you think free transactions are any good for the network or the community in general. If they're still helpful just because people get free transactions sometimes, or if they're bad because the uh, the miners they need the fees and they deserve the fees. So let us know what you think. You, me, and btc.com/live, and it's all you, John.
All right. This is a Cointelegraph article. Microsoft hosts bitcoinless Bitcoin 2.0 event for social good. So yeah,
Bitcoinless.
Yeah, so MIT and Microsoft partnered for this conference event thing, and they had a couple different speakers there. The two main guys were John Paul Farmer, who's director of technology and civic innovation at Microsoft, and Brian Ford, who is he's the head of MIT's Media Lab's digital currency initiative and a former White House colleague of Farmer, the guy from Microsoft. Uh, so yeah, the event focused on non-currency applications of Bitcoin technology, I guess, which we've seen a lot. That's kind of the new thing. Um, yeah, so I'll read some stuff from the end of the article because I really liked what they said at the end. I thought they put it very well. But there was one application notably missing, of course. As predicted by Ford, there was little to no focus on Bitcoin with a lowercase b. As has become fashionable lately, the cryptographic currency itself was hardly mentioned, but the underlying technology that it's the underlying technology that is increasingly considered the real revolution. And then he says this is kind of ironic because this event was Bitcoin 2.0 for social good. They were focusing on ways that they can change, I don't know, change society, change things for the better of people. And he says this is ironic because the existence of a peer-to-peer, uncensorable, and potentially anonymous money free from banks and governmental control is probably the greatest social good blockchain technology has realized so far. I think this is really good because yeah, it's really easy to focus on all these things about blockchain that we can do outside of Bitcoin. That's all awesome, and there's so much potential for so many things. But right now, blockchain is the most disruptive thing that has been done with Bitcoin that is actually functioning and useful right now. And then the last paragraph I think is pretty good too. In an economy shaped by too big to fail banks, artificially pumped up stock markets, where ramping inflation is a daily reality for millions, and where the populations of entire countries are shut out of their bank accounts overnight, a Bitcoin event set out to solve hard social problems while ignoring the currency aspects of this revolutionary invention feels a bit empty.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting because I just listened to, it must have been maybe last Friday's Let's Talk Bitcoin, and part of it was a talk that Antonopoulos gave at, I think it was the Wired Money Conference or something. And this is actually the exact kind of debate that he was mentioning in this talk was like people talk about uh, blockchain, and yeah, of course it's disruptive. Of course, there's all kinds of great things about it. It's fascinating what it can do. But Bitcoin is the first app on the network, and that's freaking awesome too. Because Antonopoulos loves to talk about all the unbanked people, the other 6 billion, and how little, someday a 12-year-old is going to be able to have a complete bank on his cell phone and stuff. He really does care about the money. He does care about Bitcoin, not just the blockchain. And I think you're right, John, and this article is right that Bitcoin itself, sure, it's just the first app, but it's still absolutely fascinating and helpful and disruptive and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, and for us, we got into Bitcoin before we had any clue what the blockchain was. At least I didn't. And I feel like it wasn't until we went to that conference that we actually started to like realize that there was more things you could do with it than money. A lot of people who got into it early on because they were into money or something like that. And it's I don't know. I could tie this to something I was saying, I think a few weeks ago or something, about how like banks now starting to incorporate the blockchain might just like make people think that they have something that's as good as Bitcoin now, when in actuality they don't, because it's just
Yeah,
this
yeah,
thing that
yeah.
banks set up. It's like we started talking about all these other applications of blockchain to get people in, and now we're like forgetting that the reason we started in the first place was because of Bitcoin.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it is crazy. Like we've mentioned this quite a bit recently. Like to imagine just how they're literally putting everything on the blockchain these days. And months ago we interviewed a guy who was, you know, allowing you to put documents on the blockchain and then sign them or whatever. And there's people who are putting voting on the blockchain. There's people who are putting, I don't know, like what is that? Uh, like counterparty, right? Yeah, that's on the blockchain, and there's all kinds of tokens are in counterparty. Oh, that's a little more legitimate because they are tokens. They're not weird concepts. And here's the thing. That's really cool. Like counterparty's cool, but also like voting on the blockchain, really cool, right? Or putting documents on the blockchain, really cool. Or what we I think it was just last Thursday we talked about graffiti or something on the blockchain. Like you can just write
Yeah,
messages and they're embedded on the blockchain forever. That's really cool. And please, everybody work on that stuff and do that. Just don't forget that Bitcoin is the most developed app yet, and I would imagine that it's way ahead and way more useful than a lot of these other apps. And money makes the world go round. Everybody knows that. I mean, it's the center of front and center for a lot of people as they get through life. And Bitcoin it's it's been done pretty darn well on the blockchain, and so let's remember that. Let's use it. Let's
yeah.
tell people that.
I also like how he talks about fixing money as social change, because I feel like when we think of social issues, we think of like poverty and sickness and things like that. But money is a social issue, and that's one way that people's lives get ruined is by money. Just as much as people's lives get ruined from, I don't know, getting sick or any other kind of thing like that, or just being born in a poor place. I
Yeah,
think
and that's not only that, but there's a lot of evidence and argue. I'm not the expert on this, but there is a lot of evidence and arguments out there that say a free market is the best way to help poor people or starving people or whatever. And we're going to touch on that. John and I will a decent amount in the second half of tomorrow's regular podcast. But yeah, that's you're right. Money, having a free market and good money is extremely good for the general social conditions. Is
yeah,
that kind of what you were saying?
yeah, that's a much better way of putting it than I did. Oh, another thing that they mentioned, they almost really just mentioned it in passing at the end of this article, which I want to talk about because maybe you'll know more about the legitimacy of this claim than I do. I mean, I think seems to make sense to me on the surface, but it'd be worth talking about, I think. They said that the Bitcoin blockchain relies on Bitcoin, the currency, to remain secure. So I guess what I like the way I take that is the fact that people are processing transactions all the time and using it for currency is what keeps the blockchain running and what makes it valuable for doing other things. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, I was actually thinking about that just about 2 or 3 minutes ago. How the uh, the reason that people mine and keep the blockchain secure is because they get rewarded monetarily in Bitcoin for mining. And so yeah, I think that's absolutely true that the Bitcoin currency app is what keeps the Bitcoin network running. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, if people weren't doing transactions, there wouldn't be anything to mine.
Yeah, yeah. And that's also why like I mean it's we whenever you put data on the blockchain, whether it's for counterparty or a document that you somehow embed in the blockchain, that has to be done as part of a transaction, which then also should normally include a fee, especially if there's a lot of data. So, yeah, absolutely. Okay, nice. Anything else in that article? Were we still on the bitcoinless conference?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. All right, so I guess we can move on if
Oh,
that's
I
all for
didn't.
that.
I'll post that one in the chat because I didn't do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I have the link. Yeah, that's a good reminder for anyone listening to the podcast later or watching the video later. You can always check out the show notes, and I'll have the links. You got to do that on our website though, because pasting links in YouTube is a lot less neat and clean. So I just put them on our site, which hopefully you'd be checking there anyway. So nice. Okay, so I want to. I have actually a really interesting article next. I think I have proof that somebody over at Google watches our show. Definitive proof.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
we'll get to that in a moment. But a reminder that everyone, I guess I'll do both reminders. First of all, get to you, me, and btc.com/live. You can watch there, listen there, tweet us there. Always open to tweets, open tweet lines during the show and all week long. Anything at all that you'd like to share with us, questions, comments, whatever, just click the button. It'll fill in the hashtag YMB Live. And the poll is also still now live. So if you have any thoughts on whether free transactions are helpful for the network or not, let us know. You can fill in your own answer if you like. And Tim and John are definitely welcome to and encouraged to vote in that as well. And check out Wall of Coins, which is created by Jenna Trust. I don't see my video right. Oh wow, that was kind of perfect. I'm getting good at this whole pointing to the corner of my screen thing. Uh, Check out Wall of Coins. You can do that at umeandbtc.com/buy. There's a widget right there. You can buy Bitcoin to your heart's content. You don't even have to create an account. Super quick, super easy. You can also sell Bitcoin on the same network, and you get cash in your bank account extremely quickly, and it's cash, so it's available right away. So do that, you, me, and btc.com/buy. Okay, here's the proof. This is actually really fascinating, and I guess I should paste. This isn't actually an article. It's a new service that Google is offering, and this is it is definitive proof that somebody at Google has been watching YMB Live. Apparently, you can take off the step three. That link was not quite right, but close enough. Apparently, there Google is now allowing you to pay Google to remove ads from every site everywhere that uses AdSense. Wherever you go on the web, you can take away the ads if you pay Google a little bit, and then Google in turn will pay the websites. If you visit their site and you have paid to remove ads, then that website gets a fraction of whatever you've paid. And I think it's a crazy idea because we've been talking for weeks now, and I just haven't had the time to finalize this whole project. But we've been talking for weeks about how people and we've gotten feedback from you guys. We've put this out to you guys and you've tweeted us and you voted in our poll and we realized that you would much rather pay a little bit of Bitcoin instead of seeing ads. And that is really valuable information for us and we'd love to kind of get that implemented eventually. We just got to figure out how we want to do it and do some experimenting and hopefully we can. But for now, it is cool that Google is kind of noticing this and that they have this option out there. I mean, it's there's no Bitcoin involved. It's just dollars for now, and you got to pay with a credit card. But it's a cool idea, I think. And they have actually, I'm seeing three options here. You can pay two, $5, or $10 per month, and that gets, I'm sure that'll get split between everybody that every website that you visit that uses AdSense, and but then they will, depending on how much you pay, kind of determines a percentage of the ads that will get removed. And I'm seeing here that even the highest priced one, $10 a month, still only removes 25 to 50% of ads. That's not a ton in my mind. I don't know. What would you guys pay for this? And are you looking at this pricing chart? Any idea how much you would pay for it?
I mean, I use ad block,
That's
so
true. Uh, True statement. But
Yeah,
this
and John's
actually,
converted me to that recently too. I got that back on.
no. I mean, I like the idea of it. I do occasionally feel a little bit bad for using ad block, occasionally.
yeah.
So
Well,
I,
that's the
I
thing.
definitely like the idea.
Yeah, the name of the service is contributor, Google Contributor, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea is that you're supposed to feel like you're contributing to the site because okay, I don't want to see ads, but I still want to support this site, which is that's I like that general mindset. Like I have that a lot, like where I just want to support someone. This picture right here, I bought it because I wanted to support the person that took the picture because I like art and I think art's cool, right? So and music, I've donated to multiple Indiegogo campaigns or Kickstarter or whatever just because I want to support it. I want to contribute, and so Google knows that, and now they're saying, hey, if you want to contribute to the content that you consume, but if you don't want to see ads, just pay a tiny bit, $5 a month, and they'll still get roughly the same amount of income, and you don't have to see ads. And I think it's obviously it's an option, right? You don't have to do it, so I think it's options are almost always good if you're allowed to opt out, and so it's if you want to do it, awesome, try it out, see how it goes.
Yeah. My one issue with this, I guess, is so this is just $5 or whatever you choose to pay per month, and then it's you get a percentage of ads, a percentage fewer of ads. I want to know how the percentage is split up. Is it just like every site you go on? So like if you go on YouTube or whatever, 25% of the ads get removed on YouTube. And then when you go on Facebook, 25% of the ads on Facebook get removed. Or is it like
No.
if you go on both, is it 25% of everything?
Well, first of all, it's only going to be through Google, and Facebook doesn't use Google. They have their own network. So it wouldn't remove anything from like a lot like Facebook or Twitter. It's just going to be AdSense. Now,
Yeah, I mean
here's the
that's just an
thing.
example.
I'm not an expert on this stuff, but I have, we have ads on the site, so I've spent some time in the AdSense space and learning how it works and in some other networks too. My guess is that every time you go to a website and there's a banner slot, there's and we actually might have briefly talked about this during one of our live shows, but there's a thing, I think it's called the contextual engine, where before the ad ever shows up, it tries to figure out who are you, where are you, what are your interests, what is your age, what kind of content is on this website, and it collects all the information it can, and it determines, it looks through then all the inventory and tries to find the ad. It's kind of a combination of whichever one you're most likely to click combined with whichever one is the most expensive, right? Whichever one is gonna make Google the most amount of money or the website the most amount of money. And I'm sure there are, who knows what kind of complicated fucking algorithms that determine the most valuable ad and the most clickable ad to put in that slot based on who you are, where you are, what country you're in, what language you speak, and all that stuff. Now, once you add in this contributor thing, my guess is that it's not so much it removes 25% from every website, rather it goes it goes through this whole process, this whole algorithm. It says, okay, there's a 50% chance of you clicking this ad, and if you do click it, it's the price is $1. Say the price is $1 per click. There's a 50% chance that you'll click it. So the I don't know, what would I call it? The real value, the averaged value of that slot is 50 cents, right? 50% times $1. The value of this ad appearing is 50 cents. Now, when you take in the contributor thing, they can say, oh, now 50 cents is actually a pretty high value, but let's say the value was really low. Let's say they picked the best ad they could find, and they only came up with a real value of like 2 cents. Then they're going to be like, oh, for some reason this person and this website are not really related, and there's a really low chance that he's going to click this ad, and it's a cheap ad anyway. So instead of showing him the ad, we'll just take a cut out of his contributor donation. And so that's where all that comes in. It's not so much that it's going to be 25% from every website. Rather, it's going to, for every single slot, it's going to try to determine the value of that slot. And if the value's low, then they might say, okay, instead of showing an ad, we're going to take a cut from his contributor balance. That was a really long explanation, but doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, does it explain that that's how it works? Because I have some
not at all. That was pure speculation.
Okay. Yeah, I hope that's not how it works, because then wouldn't that wouldn't that then mean that the sites, I mean, it also doesn't explain how the fee that you pay is distributed to the sites that you visit. So if that were the case, wouldn't that then mean that the people whose websites have little to do with you, I guess, would be getting more of your money? I would think that you would want ads to be removed from websites that you really like.
Okay. I mean, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this.
I mean, even on ads that you, or even on sites that you really like, there's still occasionally going to be a point where they're like, oh, this slot's just not too valuable. And so...
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, if I went... I don't know what an example of a site would be where I would go, and the chances of me clicking on an ad would be just so low. But
it's low on every site for me. I never click many ads.
I've never clicked. I don't think I've ever clicked one either. I mean, maybe I have. I'm sure like once or twice. But yeah, I don't know. I just have a hard time understanding how they would predict this stuff. I feel like if they came out with a service like this where I could select where I didn't want to see ads.
Yeah. So, absolutely.
Like I guess that's kind of like how Patreon works. You choose the people that you want to support, and whenever they post content, you pay out to them, and you set a monthly limit. So, like whoever posts the most content that you also decide to pay the most per content posting will get more of your money that you have like dealt out for
Right.
this month. I I don't I mean, I know Google has tons of info on their users and like probably more than any other company. They have I'm sure like as far as anyone being able to predict your habits, I'd bank on Google being the one able to do it best. But I
Yeah.
still have a hard time understanding
Right.
how they
I
would
know what you're saying.
pull it off in this case.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I definitely see the risks there. Like, if they were only going to replace low value ads, the lower value ads are going to be the ones on completely random sites that you'd never go to anyway and that you're not really interested in. I absolutely see that.
Yeah, if I click on a BuzzFeed article, I really don't want to pay them to not see an ad.
Yeah, I absolutely see that. The best I can give you is maybe like, I mean, it's Google. They're frickin' geniuses. They have the most complicated algorithm you could ever imagine. And it's I would imagine that it's possible that they kind of see that issue and maybe they have built more stuff into the algorithm where they don't just remove low value ads, but also say if you go to a website that you go to a lot and that you're really interested in and the ads are really valuable there because of that, because you're more likely to click them, maybe Google knows that and they're going to be like, okay, he goes here a lot, so we'll take off some ads and the website itself is still going to get paid a little more because of the real value of that slot is pretty high. Maybe they know that, and maybe they want to please you more, and might do that. I have no clue, but it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'd trust Google to be able to figure out a way to do this more than anybody else, but I don't know. I just need to know more about it, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It is completely new. I feel like they'll obviously be developing it for ages. Well, not for sure if it fails, whatever, but they're definitely going to be working on it and having even newer and even cooler features. So, absolutely, we can see if there are issues with it and if they fix anything and if they improve the number of ads that they can remove for the same price, maybe. So, nice. Now, another thing, we've already gone on about this for a while, but there's another thing that I want to bring up about it. Uh, I feel like one of the reasons that they might have been tempted to create a system like this is because of what, like I said, the fact that for a month or two now, we've been talking about doing exactly this, but we were going to do it without Google. We were just going to somehow remove the ads and accept a payment. And Google's like, oh crap, we don't want people doing that because we still want the money to go through us so we can take our commission. So why don't we set up a system where we can remove the ads and just take a payment? We'll get a cut, and it is still, it's not like they're ripping anybody off because it is still helpful. I mean, it makes it a whole lot easier for the websites because they don't even have to set anything up. I don't think we even have to opt into this. It's probably they're just probably automatically enrolled in this. And so, so yeah, I mean that's all I wanted to say is Google is doing this because they don't want other people to do it on their own because then Google doesn't get a cut. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that reminded me, I wanted to tell you that I was really disappointed because I thought that you actually had proof that someone at Google watched our show.
Oh, well, yeah,
So
no, they
I'm
were.
still
That's
pretty mad about that.
they they must have heard us. They must have heard us talking about it, and then they're like, "Crap! Well, why don't we do this?" I'm sure because we're the
Did
only
we
people
actually
that.
talk about that on a show, or was it just off air?
No, it was on the live show because we had a poll about the ads, and that's how we
Okay.
found out that people were actually interested in paying Bitcoin to remove the ads. And then obviously there must have been somebody from like nobody else has ever talked about this before. Like what nobody ever talks about premium content. Like it was our idea originally. And so Google must have been listening and so they came up with this contributor thing. So
Sure.
I'm still pissed off at you, Daniel. Just don't try to get out of this one.
Okie doke. That was a long one, but a fun one. I really am. That was like it's not quite Bitcoin, but we've talked about advertising before, and it's an interesting. I love talking about it because advertising is at the moment that's how I get my money, and I hate advertising, but that's how it goes. And so anyway, uh, hopefully we can. I still want to come up with this new stuff and finish these projects where we make commercial free stuff that you can get if you pay Bitcoin. We're getting there. Sorry, I'm a real busy man. Uh, you know, I never get to hang out with friends because I'm constantly working.
Yeah,
All right.
apparently.
I guess we will turn it over to Tim. I'm going to make this one quick. Get to you, me, and btc.com/live to tweet us, click the button, and vote in our poll about Bitcoin fees. Are free transactions good or bad for the community? It's all you, Tim.
Okay. Well, I'll give it choice to you, Dan. Do you want to talk about purse or do you want to talk about
Ooh.
um, the minimum wage?
Oh, man.
I don't really have
Uh,
a particular article for the minimum wage. It was more just to bring it up.
let's do purse because it's Bitcoin. We'll have an article, and it's been at least one episode since we talked about purse, so we can
Oh,
it's
okay.
we have to get back.
I don't think we talk about them that much, but whatever.
Yeah, it is true. It has actually been a while this time, but there were stretches there where we talked about them a lot. So
Yeah, I don't think I feel like there's not anybody else that we talked about a year ago that we still talk about,
yeah, that's the thing.
and
That's
they're
yeah,
one
that's
of them.
exactly the thing. I was using purse before they were even called purse. I beta tested them when they were called Get Bee Spend Bee, and
Yeah, I
and
remember that.
yeah, so and I bought a Sigur Rós album, which I still have in my car and I listen to somewhat regularly through Purse, and I don't remember what kind of discount I got, but it was fun. But at the time, it actually was not really a discount because there were other people on Amazon selling the album for like half the price, but I had to buy it at the time. If you were using Purse, you had to buy it like the default way, like through Amazon officially, and the price was twice as much anyway. So I got a little bit of a discount, but I could have gotten it even cheaper, but whatever. So it goes. All right, go ahead, Tim.
Oh, it's just that. Okay, sorry. Purse is saying that they're talking. What prompted it was that I guess he watched, which I still haven't watched, but that the Life on Bitcoin documentary that the newlyweds did a few years back, or no, just last year, right? You remember that? I think they were at the Bitcoin, the Beltway conference that we were at in DC, at least for a little bit.
Documentary?
Yeah, they lived for a year on Bitcoin, and they or no, not well, yeah, Life on Bitcoin. Okay, I'll just read it. Uh, Two people got married, and they wanted for like 100 days to travel across the country and do it entirely with just paying Bitcoin.
Okay.
You never heard of this?
Not that I've never heard of the documentary. I've heard of lots of people doing that, but not the
Okay.
documentary.
Okay, well, he talks about that, and he jumps off of that to say that it's like he's still excited about Bitcoin. He still likes Bitcoin, but Bitcoin right now isn't being like it's gone up before, but now it's gone back down again because it's. I mean, yeah, it's a new payment system, but not enough people yet are intrigued by it enough or interested in it enough um, for people to get as excited about it. I think I don't really know what he's coming back against. Like, I guess just people thinking that Bitcoin's like already made it, that it's mainstream, that it's big, and he's just kind of saying it's not. That even places like Expedia and Overstock are. He thinks it's only going to see it's only going to be a matter of time before they get out of it because. And as far as how much money they're getting, they're not getting that much money from the Bitcoin. So why keep using it? Um, from their point of view.
Right.
And he's then also saying that at Purse, they do provide a customer incentive so people can use Bitcoin. I mean, I do agree with him there, and that's why I tend to use Purse. But they can really only do that because they're piggybacking off of another company. So I don't.
Yeah.
He
I
can't. He can't really say like, well, my company does it. Why can't yours? Or I mean, he can. It's just his has a very special niche, niche, whatever.
one of the I would say to some extent I disagree with the general idea that companies will drop Bitcoin because not many people use it, and here's why. Now this I'm not I don't work at a big company, and I'm not a retailer, so I don't know the specifics of all this, and I could absolutely be wrong. But from what I know, eh, accepting Bitcoin doesn't really cost anything, right? I mean, you just like you put it on. I mean, sure, a little bit of support if it doesn't work out for people or something goes wrong. But really, like once it's there, like you just let it sit there, and it doesn't cost really anything. You have the option there, and if two people use it a year, then that's fine. That theoretically, that's two new customers that you wouldn't have had otherwise. Now, I mean, I know there's a lot more variables that these people consider, and if we put the Bitcoin option there, will people think that we sell drugs? Like, yeah, and
Uh,
so whatever they'll figure out whatever they figure out and find profit or not find profit. I don't know, but I would like to just point out that it's not hard to accept Bitcoin, and it can get converted to cash instantly at full value for you. So I'm not sure that it'll get dropped quite as quickly as he expects, but maybe. Because that's what he does. I guess we don't even know if we mentioned this yet, but he is saying that like who is it? Oh, Andrew Lee. We interviewed him before. But he's saying uh like Expedia and Overstock. He's saying that it's only a matter of time before they exit Bitcoin because they've already cited low usage. Okay, like so what? Not many people use it, so it doesn't really cost much. So I don't know.
I
Anyway,
don't know if that's true that it doesn't cost much.
what does it cost?
Well, I'm sure they're probably paying somebody to run that in the company.
Well, what is there to run? You like once it's there, I mean, it's an option that just sits there,
Yeah, but
right?
somebody like there people who are doing finances and stuff in the company. I'm sure they have somebody who's like getting paid just to take care of the Bitcoin side of things. If not
yeah,
I
there
mean,
always has to be
several
someone
people.
kind of in control
I
of it.
think
So
it depends. It definitely depends on the size of the company. Like Overstock, maybe sure, but and the average e-commerce website out there, it's like literally it's like two plugins and it's integrated and it goes straight to your bank account. I mean, I've done
Yeah,
that
but
before. I've
you
set that
can't
up
when you're
before.
in a company, there's not just one bank account. That's what I'm saying. Like for a company, it's not as simple as like a single person accepting Bitcoin. I would agree for that, but like it's a lot different for companies, and they also have to worry about different taxes and stuff.
But see, I don't think that's true because you treat it exactly like you would a credit card or a cash payment, right? The credit card,
Yeah, and
sure,
how many
that's
people do they pay to take care of that stuff in a company?
right, but I'm saying, but those people are already there, and to add Bitcoin is, in my opinion, it should be extremely easy. I mean, maybe I'm wrong,
Yeah,
but
I don't know that it is. I mean, I can't say that it's this huge burden, but like I doubt that it's nothing.
I mean, yeah, it's especially for a bigger company, maybe it's not nothing, but yeah, to me it just seems really low. But like I said, who knows? But there is a Well, here, one thing that I read here, which is crazy. The Amazon gift card market is $15 billion. Holy crap. Like that's how much money is out there in Amazon gift cards. I mean, I guess like I've probably heard before that Amazon is the world's largest retailer, and that's true. But they like their gift cards alone. That's not even counting all the cash purchases, credit cards or whatever. Amazon Prime. That's not even counting any of that. Gift cards alone, they're credited with $15 billion. That is crazy. That seems like a ton of money, and it's only a fraction of it of their revenue, I guess. I love how Tim's paying attention.
I was listening to you continue to talk about Bitcoin and how everyone should accept it and they're retarded if they don't.
That's not what I was talking about, but
Why is
okay.
someone calling me?
Anyway, and that there's also one. I guess the whole point of the article is saying that Purse kind of changes this because Purse gives you a discount of somewhere in the neighborhood of 20%, which is that's a notable discount. And the thing is, with Purse, I mean, with a lot of things, like they'll give you 20% off. Like you go to the clothing store, and everywhere all over the place there's signs that say 50% off. That's complete bullshit. Like, yeah, 50% off a $200 price tag for a thing that cost a sweatshop 30 cents to make, right? Like, I'm sorry, but like clothing is it's I hate the way they do that. They tell you know what I hate the most is when somebody comes up to me and they start bragging to me about like the cheap
The
clothing.
deal they got, they're like, oh my
I
god.
went to I went to American Eagle and it was 75% off, and like I got like three things and it was so cheap. I'm like, you still spent $20 on a shirt. Like, I mean,
A
$20.
shirt. That's not that expensive, Daniel, for a
Yeah,
shirt.
no, that's what I was about to say. It's not, but it's way more money than it costs to make. It probably cost $1.50 for them to make that shirt. So don't tell me that and the $20. You're right. It's a fairly reasonable price, but you can find that any day. So don't tell me you found this big giant bargain. Like you could go. I'm sure somewhere every day you could find a shirt for $20. So don't act like it's some big deal and you got some crazy discount. No, don't tell me that. Anyway, my point with
Wow,
all
No,
that is
he's
to
really
say
bitter
that
about this.
you
yeah,
did
because
not get
they're
that
they're
for a good
idiots.
price.
Especially when, and this has happened before, somebody will tell me they're all excited because they got a shirt for $35. You're an idiot. Okay. Anyway, uh, no, but my point with all that is to say that when it comes to Amazon and Purse, that 20% is a much more legitimate discount because it's not some marketing scheme, right? Because that 20%, Amazon didn't really choose to give you that discount. It's somebody else out there that is buying stuff for you and that is willing to pay the extra 20%. And so it really is a much more legitimate discount because it's yeah, just because it's not a marketing thing for Amazon anyway. They're not giving you fake discounts just to get you to buy. They're giving you decent prices and then you're getting a real discount to some extent on top of that. I mean, there's always going to be a markup. You're always going to pay more than it costs to make. I mean, that's just how business works. But it's a lot more legitimate than 80% off at Macy's or something. So, I mean, 80% I guess normally is pretty decent, but people are also get excited about like 30% or something. So, anyway, um, but he also points out the last thing that I'm probably gonna go off on is that people like every day they'll spend hours and hours clipping out coupons from magazines and stuff to save $1.50 on chicken tenders or something. So that's or like toilet paper. So people really do go to great lengths to save a little bit of money. And when it comes to purse, buying Bitcoin is difficult, but it's compared to spending hours clipping out coupons, it's actually a lot more legitimate way to save money. I didn't really mean to say legitimate. It's a lot easier. And so, and then what comes after that is, well, people are go out of their way to get discounts, so they will go out of their way to buy Bitcoin in order to get this 20, 25, 30% discount. So all of that put together means that people are going to get into Bitcoin because of Purse. I think I'm done. Any response to my rant there again? Anything else in this article, Tim? I guess there's more down below that we might not have covered yet. Anything worth touching on?
He he just mentions their future plans, which is to somehow allow customers to spend their bitcoins for at any merchant using Purse, I guess, somehow, and that
Yeah, I've
they're
been
going to be
waiting for that.
focusing on.
I've also, real quick, I've been waiting for that feature too since it was still called Get B Spend B. I had like a $400 Best Buy gift card, and I'm like, dude, this is a cool idea, but is there any way I can liquidate this $400 gift card? Like, it's Best Buy. Like, can I buy something for somebody at Best Buy and get paid in Bitcoin? And he's like, oh, someday we'll implement other merchants and you'll be able to do that. I'm still waiting for that. I mean, I got rid of the gift card, but yeah. Anyway, I want them to have other merchants. Go ahead, Tim.
Isn't there something like that? A credit card thing? Or not a credit card, a gift card thing.
Well,
Well,
Daniel,
yeah,
there's a gift card thing and there's a credit card thing like that too. Or not like that, but you can load Bitcoin onto it and it just comes up with a dollar amount.
no, but he's asking a place where you can sell gift cards, right?
Oh, sell them.
I feel like I've
Okay.
seen something like that before. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
crazy, but
there are sites out there. Yeah, definitely. Or there was another kind of like a purse replica where you could do it on any website. Like you instead of uploading an Amazon wish list, you just pasted the link to whatever you wanted to buy, and so then you could do it on any website. But that I think that's disappeared by now, and I don't know how useful it was. But anyway, gift card's gone at this point. So sorry, I think you were still in the middle of something though, Tim, weren't you?
Just that they're going to be focusing on businesses that are normally like the credit card companies stay away from, credit card processors stay away from.
Interesting. Why are they doing that?
I would guess because of a like saying that we're going to help those people. I don't know that they're necessarily going to focus on them, but it
Yeah, well, it
Purse is
says
trying to say like, well, if the credit cards aren't going to service them well, by golly, we'll step in and we'll help those hookers and
well,
those.
no. It's not that the credit cards won't service them. It's that they say the business could be deemed high risk,
Yeah, I
and
know
so
that.
the fees are probably higher, and so then Purse can step in.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's not. I don't think if 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 there was a company that the credit cards like completely rejected, kind of like Backpage, which we talked about before, I don't think Purse would step into there just because, not because they actually have a problem with Backpage, but just because they don't want to get involved in that. They don't want to risk the reputation slash
Yeah.
or anything like that. So anyway, cool. Yeah, that's I think that's more or less the end of that article. Check out Purse. I might actually, I'm actually gonna check this. I might have a redirect set up. You, me, and BTC. Loading, loading. I do. Oh, awesome. So if you're interested in trying Purse and getting a discount on Amazon, you can go to youmeandbtc.com/purse, and that too will get us some kind of cut. I'm not really sure how their program works, but it won't cost you anything extra, but we'll get a small fraction, maybe 0.5%. I'm not sure. youmeandbtc.com/purse, and you can get a gigantic discount on Amazon, something like 20% or more. So check that out. Cool. I forgot I had that set up, but it's there. youmeandbtc.com/purse. All right. Shall we move on to John? Hmm. I just now remembered that I should have been sending out a lot more tweets over the last hour or so, and I don't know if I sent out any. But so it goes. Whatever. We're coming up on the end, so I'll just let it fly for this week. Yeah, John, anything interesting we should talk about?
Yeah, I got an article from Business Insider called "Wall Street's Former Queen of Commodities Just Made Her Pitch for Why Bitcoin is the Future."
You want to
And
drop a link? This could be our last one, depending on how ranty we get.
well, today's been a bad day for that, so.
I know.
Yeah, so Blythe Masters is the CEO of Digital Assets Holding in one of Digital Asset Holdings, which is a big shot name, I guess. Uh, and yeah, I don't know, she's talking about, well, the quote from her is pretty vague. The potential addressable markets for these types of technologies are gigantic. So that's pretty vague, but then she goes on to talk about how, I guess, trying to address people's doubts about it. She says that we should think of Bitcoin now as like the internet in the early 90s.
Right. And that I think that's completely agreeable. I mean, it is still extremely fresh, a little bit clunky, and I think there will be someday down the road there's going to be some amazing YouTubes and Googles and things that just Facebooks, things that absolutely revolutionize the way the usefulness of Bitcoin. And so yeah, I totally agree with her on that, I think.
Yeah. But so apparently this woman was part of a group of J.P. Morgan executives who helped create the market for credit default swaps in the 90s. And
Interesting.
she's worked for banks and done a lot of stuff in economics. And you don't get to be CEO being a complete idiot. I mean, I guess it depends on what company it is, but
Right. I mean, yeah, it is banking, and well, at least maybe part of it was, and a lot of people would argue that banking, of course, the idiots are going to be the CEOs, but
I
but
don't
I
think
know what you
that's true
mean.
at all. They're probably the smartest ones.
Yeah, I mean, it
The
depends how
ones
you
that
define
screw
smart.
everybody else, you think those are the stupid ones?
They're just psychopaths, Daniel.
The people that screw every single other person on the planet out of their money, you think those are the idiots?
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, it just depends on how you define. I mean, a lot of people would say they're idiots just because they rip people off, but I know exactly what you're saying. It also
Well, I
has a
mean,
certain
idiot isn't
degree of
actually like stupid. Somebody who doesn't actually know what they're talking
right,
about.
right, right. And then yeah, you're right. They are kind of smart because they get rich off of other people, and that you know, I don't know if it's smart or like at the very least clever, maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, so I guess this digital asset holdings it's a Wall Street company that's been working on stuff with cryptocurrencies a lot. So yeah, and she's the CEO of that. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a whole lot to take. This is kind of just a headline. There's not a lot of opinions or anything that you can
Yeah,
really.
the whole J.P. Morgan credit default swaps thing. See that for me, that's well, I would say that's kind of where you lose me. Like that's when the banking stuff is just too complicated, and it just reminds me that it's a messed up system. But I don't know. Maybe that's unfair for me to say because there are some complicated things in Bitcoin too. Not there's not really credit default swaps, but I don't know, say purse where somebody buys a thing for you, you pay them in Bitcoin, and they're willing to pay 20% more for some reason, but you get the 20% discount. But the item comes from Amazon. Yeah, like there's complicated stuff there, and so maybe it's unfair for me to say, but yeah, credit default swaps, J.P. Morgan executives, and so let's see, just in general, it seems like not the kind of stuff I want to get involved in. But that doesn't change the if she's saying nice things about Bitcoin, I'd probably generally agree with her. So
Yeah.
anyway, cool. Yeah, yeah, it was kind of a quick one, but yeah, might not be a ton to say. Yeah, you're right. The quote. Okay, so hang on. The headline is that she made her pitch for why Bitcoin is the future. And then literally the only part of the pitch that it mentions is like one sentence. The potential addressable markets for these types of technologies are gigantic. Like that's all that's her whole pitch, I guess. But
Yeah.
I mean at least the whole
Well,
pitch that she
it
mentioned.
paraphrases some other things she said. Like she talked about stocks and bonds and derivatives being exchanged
Okay.
with a blockchain, and
Yeah, and well that's all more stuff that I would totally agree with. Like I would agree that there are potential addressable markets out there. There are problems that can be solved with Bitcoin. Of course there are. There are people that need Bitcoin and will pay money for Bitcoin and Bitcoin services and there are people that will be able to pay for completely unrelated services because of Bitcoin. And there are markets there too that can be opened up. So yeah, I mean, she's at least based on this, it's reasonable stuff that she's saying, and I think I'd totally agree. So yeah, there are all kinds of places to make money, and and a lot of them are opened up because of Bitcoin. So okay, cool. We can call it, I guess. Uh, I guess I'm next. Anything? I have one that we could do. It's nothing super special though. Are there any good things that you two had prepared that are leftovers that we could finish up on? Would it be worth touching on minimum wage for 10 minutes? Probably not for 10 minutes. I feel like we could go on about that forever. All right, so
Okay,
anything that you guys want to cover, or should I go with this sort of interesting one?
let's go with the sort of interesting one.
Okay, so this is we covered this in an episode called what did I call this? It was the one about when did we cover payment channel before? Oh, in the Lightning Network. It was the crash landing, maybe. We covered an article by Mike Hearn, and I think I titled the episode the same as he titled his article, and I think it was called Crash Landing. Not 100% sure. But anyway, we did cover this a little bit, but there's a new article here from. Can we please scroll up? Oh, I should probably touch my mouse pad if I want it to work.
Right.
Um, all it says is guest author. It does not say who it's by. There's a tip button, but if I click it, oh, it says Alexander Rasseri. I guess it's probably him. Okay, cool. So the headline is Will Lightning Network Strike Bitcoin? And then it's opinion article by, I think, Alexander Resseri. And he talks about the Lightning Network. Before I get into what he says, do you guys remember what we said about the Lightning Network? Uh, what it is or what it does?
No.
Seriously? Not at all?
The Lightning Network?
It was just like built on top of the blockchain to allow
Right.
transactions to go faster.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a payment channel, and I mean, in terms of how it's designed, I don't know much, but I know what it's supposed to do, and that's it goes on top of the network, it collects transactions and makes them a whole lot faster. And one of the even maybe more helpful purposes would be that it could allow the regular Bitcoin network to continue operating on, say, a 1 megabyte block limit because it would aggregate transactions and it wouldn't need 20 megabytes because it could make it kind of compress the activity into a smaller amount of transactions. But he does say a lot here, and a decent amount of it. We've covered it before. What is Bitcoin? Why do we need Bitcoin? Or not Bitcoin, the Lightning Network. What is it? Why do we need it? And basically, he says just to kind of increase the capacity to make Bitcoin faster, and that's all great stuff. Uh, I want to read a quote here from. Uh, I see the last name here. I want to see if I can find the first name. Somebody named Poon, Poon. I'm not seeing their first name. I'm sure it's in here somewhere, but we hope to solve Bitcoin scalability and instant transactions, enabling Bitcoin to encompass all transactions, even many thousands of micropayments per person. And that's actually a huge part of it too, is micropayments. Uh, because right now Bitcoin couldn't handle very much. I mean, compared to fiat, yeah, Bitcoin can handle smaller payments in higher quantities, maybe, just because it's hard to pay 99 cents credit card for something or whatever. But they mean really, really micro payments that we can get to eventually, like a penny per second maybe or something like that. And yeah, that'd be great to see. But then towards the end of the article, he's just talking about uh, are we gonna see this anytime soon? How ready is it? And I'll just read his kind of conclusion here. Real world deployment of the Lightning Network is probably still a couple years away, though some improvements could lead to an earlier than expected release. It would also involve a soft fork to the Bitcoin protocol in order to solve the issue of transaction malleability so that network users can reliably send coins from transactions that haven't been broadcast to the blockchain. So there it is. It's an interesting idea. Should be absolutely helpful down the line. That's what Mike Hearn said. Like he loves the idea of of payment channels, and he wants to see them eventually. But he was also arguing that we're not going to have them ready in time, so we still need to increase the block size limit, and that's a whole debate in itself. But anyway, any thoughts before we wrap up, guys? Think Lightning Network is a good.
I kept it
I
in.
was I was laughing at the face you were making. Any thoughts on the Lightning Network? Good, bad? You think we will see it? Do you think we won't see it? Do you think Bitcoin is good enough by itself? Any quick thoughts before we wrap up?
I mean, I don't know why you. If it's a bad idea, then
It
people
won't
won't
work.
use it, I
Yeah.
guess. But
Yeah.
it sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is we don't know a ton about it, but it seems decent, seems helpful, and if it works, then yeah, let's do it. So yeah, I think that's kind of the general idea so far. Cool. All right. Well, I'm seeing 3 minutes. Plenty of time to say goodbye. I want to thank everybody for being here. It's been an awesome live edition of You, Me, and BTC. Tune in tomorrow for an awesome episode. You should be subscribed through our email list, which is going through some changes right now. I tried out MailChimp right before today's show to announce that we were going live. I'm I'm kind of transitioning our list, and I don't want to. I hope I don't lose anybody. I hope I don't mess up any of the subscription forms or anything. But anyway, still, uh, you should be subscribed through email, through iTunes. I put us on Stitcher, I don't know, a week ago or something. You can subscribe there if you use that. Uh, yeah, definitely. You should be subscribed, and you'll get our episode for tomorrow, in which we talk about a whole bunch of stuff with the blockchain. Now, I guess we just spoke earlier today about how Bitcoin itself is about even more than the blockchain. I mean, the currency itself is amazing, but the blockchain is amazing too. And so we're going to cover a lot of that tomorrow. Whenever I get it out, I don't know, sometime in the afternoon, 5, 6, 7, 8, who knows. And hopefully you'll enjoy it. Me and Tim will be there for the first half, and John and I will pick it up again in the second half. Any important points that we covered? Oh, I guess in the second half we talk a lot about the
Chickens.
consent. Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we talking about chicken abuse,
Oh,
but
okay.
the consent of the governed, and actually we really did talk about chicken abuse for probably like 15 minutes. So check
Yeah.
that out towards the end, I think.
Yeah. Also, there's a new Bitcoin in the arts coming out this Saturday.
Oh
If you if you
yeah.
uh if you checked out last month, I talked about a scribe, and I'll be doing an interview with the Bruce Pawn, who I think is the CEO of a scribe. If he's not the CEO, he's something like that. Yeah, so that will be coming up on Saturday, unless he stands me up for our interview, which I hope doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
I am completely excited for that because I guess it'll be the first Bitcoin in the arts interview. So, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I can't wait to hear that. So, yeah, this will be this Saturday. Wow, it's been a month already.
Yeah.
Uh, Twitter at you, me, and BTC. You should be following there. If you use Facebook, you can do that too. I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, but we're on Facebook. Like I said, iTunes, Stitcher, email, whatever, get out there. And tune in next Wednesday as well. So you got shows tomorrow, Saturday, Wednesday, next Thursday, nonstop. We'll be here. So
That's
cool. I'm showing 3 o'clock. Thanks for being here. This was you, me, and BTC Live. We will catch you later. My broadcast button got blocked by my clock, or I mean, stop broadcast button. But goodbye for real this time.